Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with us, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. So this lesson is about reharmonization. That means we're going to take an existing song and we're going to find new chords to play over the same melody. Now, that means that you're probably going to need to already know about chords and keys and probably intervals, and probably have already several songs that you can play well enough that they actually sound like the song. But even if you can't do that, you might pick up some interesting theory bits along the way. So feel free to join us. The goal, though, is not this song. It's not about the song that we're working on. It's really about taking the concepts you like, the reharmonizations, the substitutions that you like from this lesson, and then applying them to other songs that you already know how to play. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside, so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, now would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense, but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson when you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Coldplay Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And thankfully, I think that's about all we need to cover before the lesson. So if you'd stick around afterwards and fill out the survey, I would love your feedback. But for now, let's have some fun and make some music.
The lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against, it brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing come out of things unsaid, shoot an apple off my head, and a trouble that can't be named, a tiger's waiting to be tamed.
Okay, that was weird. Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. We might do some of that, or something less weird, something more weird. Who knows? Speaking of weird, I was looking for a transition, and that was the wrong one.
It's accurate.
But this is the incomparable Kendra.
Guess what, Jamin? Thank you. Guess what, Jamin? I'm very excited because I recently had a counseling appointment through my school to set up my classes.
Oh, cool.
Yes, for next semester.
Yikes.
And so I'm very
excited.
excited.
That sounds like college talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Man.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're old. Okay. Well, this is your second semester? Second year? Second semester.
Year, second semester. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That'll be what it is.
I'm excited because I like the classes except
Okay.
for the math one. But it is what it is.
Yeah. True enough. Well, good luck. I'm sure you'll do
Thank
great. Okay. So, starting off with what we did last week, because last week we did the tutorial on this song. We talked about the E flat chord, the B flat minor, the B flat minor again, and the F minor. Hopefully, at the beginning point of this lesson, whether we come up with anything great or not, we'll go through lots of great ideas. And at the starting point of this lesson, you need to be able to at least play the chords we played last week, along with the track, something like this.
The lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against, it brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing come out of things unsaid, shooting apple off my head, and a trouble that can't be named, a tiger's waiting to be tamed.
So that's what we did last week. If you can't do that yet, then we probably need to practice that up. You can stick around and still like learn about the concepts and stuff, but playing it's going to be difficult if we can't already do that part right there. So we call this a beginner lesson, but it's really the beginner version of reharm, and reharm is not a beginner concept. If you go to learnpianolive.com/reharm, you see this thing right here. Actually, you see that thing right there, that video. Ignore that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But this wheel right here is what we're going to use today to do all of our messiness on this thing. First, though, let's use these two guys right here. These 2 points that we pretty much do this before we do any of our reharm stuff on any of our lessons. We're going to add 7s, 9s, and 6s, and then also play the 5 of any chord before it. So back to this thing, we would play like an E flat major 7, and a major 7 is just the regular E flat chord, E flat major chord, but we're playing the note that is a half step below the root and the note that is a whole step above the root. So these notes right here make up the E flat major 7 or major 9 chord. We probably wouldn't voice it like that, although the more I'm hearing that, the more I like that clustery sound. But normally we would take that note out and either play a 7, 9, 3, 5 of the chord, because that's the 1, the 3, and the 5. And then if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that note right there, the one we played right there, is going to be the 7. And then the note that's on the other side of the root would be the 9. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just counting straight through. And then putting them in any order. This is 7, 9, 3, 5. That's pretty common. We usually call that a B voicing. And then if we put the 7 and the 9 on the other side and play those notes in that order, we generally call the 3, 5, 7, 9 the A voicing. So we've got an A voicing right there, or a B voicing for an E major 9 chord. Man, that was a lot of notes and a lot of concepts already, and we're just on our first chord. Next, we would do a B flat minor 7 or a B flat minor 9. That would look something like this. There's our B flat right there, so we could either play the 7 and the 9 up here and play 3, 5, 7, 9. That's the A voicing. Or we could put the 7 and the 9 down here and play 7, 9, 3, 5 with a B flat in the left hand. So B voicing, A voicing, or any voicing that you want to include those notes. And then the last chord that we would have would be an F minor 7. So if we play an F minor 7 or an F minor 9, that's our F minor. Here's the A voicing, the 7 and the 9 right there, 3, 5, 7, 9, like that. That's our A voicing. Or 7, 9, 3, 5, that would be our B voicing right there, just playing the roots in the left hand. And already we've got a huge assignment. If this stuff is new to you, then your assignment is just to go back, figure out when in the world those notes were there for the E flat major 9, and then the B flat minor 7, and then the F minor 7. If we just do that much along with the track, it would sound different already, like this.
The lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against, it brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead, singing come out of things unsaid, shooting out named. A tiger's waiting to be tamed.
So, pretty much just playing those notes in different voicings, different orders, whatever. But all the notes are all the notes I already showed you. Okay, so that's significantly different already. And now we're gonna put the 5 of any chord before it. You already know the 5. You just don't know that you know the 5. If you've played the chord like that, if you've played an E flat, you already know what the 5 is because that's the 1, the 3, and the 5. The 1, the 3, and the 5. So B flat is the 5 of an E flat chord, just like the E flat is the 1 of the E flat chord and the G is the 3 of the E flat chord. Lots of words there, but the concept's pretty simple. If you're playing the chord, you're already playing the 5. So what we want to do is just play the 5 before the chord. So on an E flat chord, we want to play the 5 of it before the E flat. So we want to play a B flat chord right over here. Now, I'm just playing the note right now, but what we actually want is the full-on chord, a B flat 7 chord. So we would play a B flat, but then also play all the notes of a B flat 7 chord like that. So that's our B flat 7 chord, and we would play that to go into the E flat. And it's gonna hopefully lead there pretty nicely. The 5 of any chord before it usually leads really well into that chord. So that B flat 7 should lead nicely into that E flat. And then if we want to play something before the B flat minor 7 right here, the question is, what is the 5 of B flat? Well, if we just play the original chord that we played last week, we would notice the 1, 3, and the 5. So we would play an F right here. And of course, since we're doing this exercise, we would turn that into an F7. So we can play an F7, this chord right here. Maybe add the 9 in. So F, A, and C are the most important ones. These are our kind of decoration notes over here. So F7 before the B flat minor, and it should lead pretty nicely into the B flat minor. And then before the F, we'd want to play the 5 of it. So what is the 5 of the F minor? If you can already play the F minor chord, then you can play the 1, the 3, and the 5. You notice the C is the 5, except for what we're doing when we're turning that into a C7. Bam, there we go. Now we've got the 5 of every chord before it. And because these chords are just looping, I'm not going to write them on the following lines as well. But this would be all of the 7s and the 9s, and also all the 5s of all the chords before them. So the B flat leads into the E flat major 7. The F leads into the B flat minor 7. And the C7 leads into the F minor. Let's see if I can get the timing on this right. Along with the track, it might sound something like this.
Lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against, it brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead. Singing come out of things unsaid. Shoot an apple off my head. And a trouble that can't be named. A tiger's waiting to be tamed.
Yeah, so I'm kind of falling in love with that C7. Yeah, that's my melody right there. Yeah, I like that a lot. Man, okay, so I'm just gonna go back and play around with that. See if C7. See if I can emphasize that melody more in there. I'm playing still all the same exact notes, but instead of playing this one right here, this like the C like that, I'm gonna change that 9 to be that one right there. So like a flat 9. So the 1, the 3, the 5, the 7, and the 9 is what we were playing before. But because the melody is that note right there, I'm just gonna change that 9 to that thing right there, so it fits a little bit better. So right there, we're already starting to alter some of these chords now. So a C7 with a flat 9 is gonna not conflict with the melody as much. So then, I think I'm gonna like that C a lot more. Let's try that. Here we go.
The lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against, it brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and plead. Singing come out of things unsaid. Shoot an apple off my head. And a trouble that can't be named. A tiger's waiting to be tamed.
Yeah, cool. All right, so I'm already liking that chord a whole lot. I'm not supposed to actually mess with the chords until the advanced level. But we're already getting pretty advanced with that stuff. Let's go ahead and do one of these guys right here, and we'll still call this the beginner level, even though if you're sticking with me so far, you are not a beginner pianist. You've already been playing for a lot of years. And today we're gonna try tritone subbing dominant chords. Of course we are, on the beginner level. Okay, so then here's how this works. We're going to try to take any of these chords that just say 7, like the B flat 7 or the F7 or the C7, and then we're going to try to alter. Nope, we're not altering. We're tritone subbing them. So this is where, I don't know, Kendra, help me out here. We got a B flat 7, an F7, or a C7. Which one of those three? Pick it randomly. Did you say
F7?
I did say F7.
Cool, that one.
Oh, right. So this F7 right here, we're just going to substitute another chord in its place. We're going to pretend like the F isn't there. We're going to remember that it was an F in order to find out what the tritone sub of it is. So tritone, three tone notes, and we're going to go 3 whole steps, or 3 letters away. So from an F, 1 whole step, 2 whole steps, 3 whole steps. A B is a tritone away from an F. So we're going to just pretend like the F doesn't exist and instead play a B. 7. Right there. We'll see what that sounds like. That is tritone subbing. We just did it. We just took the chord that said just the note and then 7, and we went 3 whole steps or 6 half steps away, and then played the 7 chord of that instead. So now we're going to be playing a B with a 7 and probably a 9. That chord right there, right before that B flat minor. So that thing to that thing. Oof. Let's see what that B7 sounds like, and then we'll move on from there. Here we go.
The lights go out and I can't be saved. Tides that I tried to swim against, it brought me down upon my knees. Oh, I beg and beg, singing come out of things unsaid, shooting apple off my head, and a trouble that can't be named, a tiger's waiting to be tamed.
Yeah, okay, I don't know, that's weird. Let me try with just the melody here. So if we had, oh, that's why. Yeah, because it's a B7 chord. No, that's not why. Right here, the melody is a C in there, and that's kind of conflicty with that B. So I think that's the reason I'm not totally digging it, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to alter the chord enough. Maybe if I played a B with a flat 9. B7 flat 9, man. So then we'd have, I don't know if that would fix it or not. Maybe we'll mess with that more later. But for right now, I think that's it for the beginner's level. That's more than enough for a beginner's level, which means it's time for the feature of the day. It means it's almost time for the feature of the day. Folks, the incomparable Kendra.
I'm not actually sure that what I have here is accurate.
It's the opposite of that.
Wow. So is it half steps up?
It is half steps up.
Wow, okay, yes. That's right. And today's progression of the day is half step creep up.
Gee, Kendra, that sounds like you have a script in front of you, but I'm sure that you don't. This was totally not planned out.
We had it.
So then, yeah, so last week we did the cache, which was taking any chord. This is not related to clocks yet. We'll probably mess with this later. But last week what we did was the cache. So we took any chord, like an A minor, and we just took the bottom note down by half steps, and it ended up sounding pretty cool. So we call that the cache. So that was last week. This week, what we're going to do is try taking any of the notes up a half step. I'm going to suggest you start with the 5 of the chord, because if you start by moving the root up by half step, that's pretty cool, but then you start running into the rest of your chord here pretty quickly. So now our root is taking over the whole chord. So now if we take the 5 up by a half step, now we can like go pretty much infinitely without running into our hand. We're just gonna run out of span that we can get with our hand. But if we have this, That's cool right there. So this is just a C chord where I'm taking the 5 of the chord, one of the notes, up by a half step, and keeping the rest of it the same. So that's definitely something to experiment with, especially if you know what the circle of fifths is and you're going from a major chord to a cycle move away. Let's get into it real quick. This right here is the circle of fifths. We're going to be using this a whole lot in all of our reharm stuff. So anytime you move counterclockwise through this circle of fifths, then you've got a cycle move. So if you're going from a C chord to an F chord, or you're going from an F chord to a B flat chord, or a B flat chord to an E flat, or an E flat to an A flat, or an A flat to a D flat, or to a G flat, or a B, E, A, D, G, C. That order of chords is called the circle of fifths. And anytime you have one of these chords going to another one of those in order, this thing that I just showed you is going to sound really cool. So from the F to the B flat, or the B flat to the E flat. So anytime you got a cycle move, this thing's going to be pretty much automatically cool-ish. But you try it with other stuff too, and try not just going up 1 or 2 notes, but you're gonna run into all kinds of really cool stuff. In fact, this song right here that you know if you're super duper old is kind of based on that same idea too. Just like taking a chord and what happens if we just like alter this by a half step? What happens? Just alter this by a half step. So take one of the songs that you're working on and just try altering your chord by a half step. At first it's going to sound terrible and you're going to go, wow, that didn't work at all. Thanks a lot for nothing, Jamin. But instead of just like accepting that as like that was the wrong version, listen to it again and pretend like I told you it was the right version and just trust in it. And you go, okay, so that was the right thing. How does actually, it's not bad. It's gonna sound really super weird at first, but if you trust it and just do it repeatedly, like what we do on these reharm lessons, where I go through something, I'm like, that sounds terrible. Then we try it like 4 or 5 more times, and I'm like, yeah, actually, I think that sounds pretty awesome, and it ends up making the cut. Do that with some of these kesh and whatever the opposite of the kesh is ideas, and you might come up with some cool reharms without even having to know any music theory, just moving notes around by half step. All right, that's the end of that theory lesson. Let's move on to the intermediate version. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out, and if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us.